Let's delve into PHP MySQL SELECT operations and how to query data and fetch results. By the end of this tutorial, you'll master the fundamentals of retrieving data from MySQL databases using PHP. Here is the basic select syntax. The select statement is used to select data from a database. Write select, then the name of the columns, separated by commas, from, and the table name. You can optionally use where followed by a condition. To select all columns from a table, use select asterisk from followed by users, which is the name of the table. Before you can perform any operations on a MySQL database, you need to establish a connection. Here's how to set up a connection using MySQLi in PHP. First, define the server name, which is usually localhost, the username typically root, the password, which is often left blank for local development, and the database name you want to connect to, for instance, MyDB. Then create a new MySQLi object, passing in the server name, username, password, and database name. This establishes the connection to your MySQL database. Now that you're connected to the database, let's execute a select query. First, define your SQL query as a string. For example, to select the ID, name, and email columns from the users table. Then, use the query method of your connection object to execute the query. Store the result in a variable named result. Next, it's important to check if the query was executed successfully and if there are any rows returned. You can do this by checking if the result is not false and if the number of rows in the result is greater than 0. If both conditions are true, you can proceed to process the results. After executing the select query, you'll want to fetch the results to work with the data. One common method is to use fetch_association, which fetches the result row as an associative array. Here's how to use it in a while loop to iterate through each row of the result set. Inside the loop, you can access each column's value using the column name as the key in the associative array. For example, to display the ID, name, and email of each user, you can concatenate the values with appropriate labels and HTML line breaks to format the output. Besides fetch_association, there are other fetch methods available in PHP for retrieving data from a result set. Let's explore two of them: fetch_array and fetch_row. The fetch_array method fetches the result row as both a numeric and associative array. This means you can access the column values either by their index or by their name. The fetch_row method, on the other hand, fetches the result row as a numerically indexed array. With this method, you can only access the column values by their index. Let's tie everything together with a complete select example. Suppose you want to select all columns from the users table where the age is greater than 18. First, construct your SQL query with the appropriate where clause. Then, execute the query using the query method. After that, check if there are any results returned by verifying if the number of rows is greater than 0. If there are results, iterate through each row using a while loop and fetch_association to access the column values by name. Finally, display the name and email of each user. If no results are found, display a message indicating that. Let's recap some best practices and key points regarding select operations in PHP with MySQL. Always check for connection errors to ensure a successful connection to the database. Use prepared statements, especially when dealing with user input, to prevent SQL injection attacks. Close the connections properly after you're done with the database operations to free up resources. Handle empty result sets gracefully by displaying appropriate messages when no data is found. Use appropriate fetch methods based on your needs, whether you require associative, numeric, or both types of arrays. In summary, select operations retrieve data from MySQL databases. There are multiple fetch methods available to retrieve the query results. Always validate your query results to handle cases where no data is found. Use where clauses for filtering data based on specific conditions. Remember to close resources, such as database connections and result sets, after use to optimize performance and prevent resource leaks. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.